Introducing the Ultimate Boxing Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything boxing. From electrifying fight previews to in-depth interviews with the legends of the ring, we break down the biggest bouts round by round. Get inside the minds of the fighters, hear their stories, and feel the intensity of their training. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just starting out, our podcast has got you covered. Stay updated with the latest news, rivalries, and predictions. Tune in and feel the adrenaline, the passion, the raw power of boxing. Boxing is about perseverance, pushing through every challenge. It's the spirit of hard work and dedication that defines a true champion. So what are you waiting for? Like, follow, and subscribe to the Unprofessional Experts podcast. Stay tuned for more exciting updates. Without boxing, nothing in the world means anything.
I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Welcome back, fight fans. We are the Unprofessional Expert podcast, fresh off a weekend of exciting, maybe not fights, interesting fights nonetheless. But before we get started, make sure you go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, get your pets, your cats, your dogs, your turtles, your chickens. Sit down, watch, or stream this episode. JMC and Davo, let's go ahead and get this one started.
All right, so we're going to go right into it. We got to talk about what happened. What happened the other day with Mr. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Man, what's going on, man? How we feeling about this Netflix card?
The legendary Michael Tyson, Iron Michael Tyson. There was a blooper on Netflix, man, where Mike's son interviews him, and he walks away. Man, he's got on nothing but his cup. I think that just kind of speaks to what happened, man. That spectacle that was put on. It was a show.
Yeah, it was like a big circus almost.
It was entertainment. Good undercard, good fights there, but just Paul, Tyson, we all wanted to see Father Time, go backwards and prime Mike Tyson jump out and beat up Jake Paul, but unfortunately that did not happen. Jake Paul was even able to move around, use the ring, and take it light on the legend.
And take it light, man, and everybody saw it. I think everybody could tell that that's what was going on, especially as the fight went on. And I'm sorry, even for people as great as Mike Tyson, you cannot defeat time. Like, I'm sorry, it catches up to you. Like Roy Jones was saying, mid-fight, that man's legs were gone. He couldn't use them. He couldn't get to Jake Paul. He couldn't cut off the ring like he used to because he's old. I mean, that's just what we were seeing. I mean, he had the knee brace on. There's probably a reason for that. The man had a medical condition back in the summer as to why they postponed the fight in the first place. I don't know what everybody was thinking. If they were going to see 1985 Mike Tyson, is that what everybody was thinking? I don't think so.
We saw the birth of the legend of Jake Paul.
Stop it. Stop it.
The most legendary YouTube fighter in history.
Did you see that DDG said that he was greater than Muhammad Ali?
That's tough. But if you're from this generation,
I guess you would think that.
It's not an absurd thought. Shout out to DDG for that terrible take. But Jake Paul, man, Logan Paul, the YouTube brothers, I call them the Paul sisters. But, man, those guys are excellent marketers.
I give them credit for that.
The idea that they put on Netflix's very first live boxing match, it was huge. It looked legit.
Netflix kind of got to get their shit together a little bit, though. There was a lot of buffering.
I need my $12 back for this month's subscription.
Yeah. They might need to refund everybody just for this month.
Just for this month, because, man, hella buffering. I thought I was going to miss a fight. Man, I'm running. I'm leaving work. I'm stuck on the highway. Got the highway down to one-lane traffic. I'm trying to watch it on my phone, and it's just buffering the whole time. I'm thinking, man, I done missed this what I thought was going to be an epic fight. Shout out to Jake Paul. What does he do next? Does he take on another senior citizen, or does he step his game up? What do you want to see from him?
Well, I know what he's not going to do next, and that's get in the ring with a real legitimate elite boxer. His age. I think that's what he's not going to do. But what he is going to do, I think it'll be interesting. And I think he has everybody interested to see what he is going to do next. And I think that's the point. right? So now we want to see, okay, well, Jake Paul just defeated the legendary Michael Tyson. Who is he going to fight next? I mean,
there's options.
he could go for, and there were a couple guys there that he could go for, right? So while he's on this train of fighting people like Mike Tyson, there's Evander Holyfield there.
Lennox
Lewis was there. Roy Jones was there. It was a lot of older fighters there, so why not just keep it rolling? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Jake Paul versus Lennox Lewis. I don't think that one does the same. Won't have the same impact.
It might have the same impact if they fought out there in the UK, you know, where Lennox is from. So, you know, that could be a
there you go, Jake. That's your next fight, Jake.
That could be a thing.
Go to the UK and fight 102-year-old Lennox Lewis. Keep it going, man. That's what you got to do, right? He got called out by some real deal guys this time. Better be a undisputed light heavyweight champ, former champ Carl Froch, who's on Twitter.
Carl Froch called him out.
Talking his shit.
And I heard some whispers because who else was there was Andre Ward, who's recently retired.
Andre Ward said, "Let's talk about it." He didn't shut it down.
Now I would love to see that one. I would pay to see that one.
I would not, but interesting that you got actual legends, actual real deal fighters calling you out. Jake Paul, he's doing something right. He's got eyes on him.
He's got everybody's attention.
I was thinking when this started, this was bad for boxing, but it's grown into something that is extremely interesting. It's unique and something that can only happen in boxing. NBA just can't pull out a 60-year-old guy and make that entertaining. It just won't work.
Yep, can't do it.
But he's done that.
Maybe during All-Star Weekend, maybe something like that. Maybe the NBA could do that.
I don't want to see a one-on-one with Anthony Edwards and Magic Johnson. I don't want to see that at all. It's what he's done with boxing. He's made it unique. He's made it extremely interesting. He's bringing generations together. I was one of Jake Paul's biggest haters. I'm not gonna lie, but he's turned this around by taking it serious, and I hope he at least steps up the level of competition next. At least,
but he does want to be careful. Let's be honest, because after watching Jake Paul, I mean, yeah, he beat a 60-year-old, almost 60-year-old Mike Tyson, but Jake Paul's still not a very good. He's not an elite boxer. Okay, he looks like one of the guys when you come into the gym and you see guys sparring. He looks like one of those random guys you can find in any gym across the United States. If he were to get in the ring with a man like Artur Beterbiev,
it's all bad.
Jake Paul's going to the hospital. Well, let's just get that out the way. Jake Paul's going to the hospital, and I think then he will find out that he's not an elite boxer. He's okay. I mean, he can box. He can get in the ring, and he can. He threw some good combinations against Mike, but he's not an elite boxer by any means.
I mean, truth be told, if he made $50 million fighting a senior citizen, what point does he have to prove by fighting Artur Beterbiev, an undefeated dog?
Yeah, why? Yeah. I wouldn't. I'm not mad. I wouldn't do it either. So yeah, that makes sense.
No way I'm finna go fight Beterbiev. Well, I'm that guy right now.
Yeah, a guy like Bivol, Beterbiev, Benavidez, Canelo, these types of guys.
He said after the fight, Canelo needs me now. And I thought that was interesting. Canelo doesn't need him.
Bogus. Yeah, that's bogus. I'm sorry. Canelo don't need anybody in boxing.
But there's more people who would tune in to see Canelo versus Jake Paul. That does the same numbers that he did with Mike.
If Jake Paul were to beat Canelo Alvarez, the entire country of Mexico would turn on Canelo Alvarez 100%. They would disown this man that night. You got to give up your citizenship to Mexico if you lose to Jake Paul.
And you're talking about the legend of Jake Paul. If something like that would have happened.
If that were to happen and he actually gets a decision, a knockdown, any of that against Canelo Alvarez, he has my respect, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not going to give Jake any respect yet, but the future for Netflix boxing live events, it was a good event. The future for the spectacle of it's stepped away from celebrity boxing. It's one step closer to being legit now. And so I'm going to watch Jake Paul's next fight.
Yeah, and shout out to Netflix for putting that on. That's really cool. Yeah, boxing is taking leaps and bounds as far as their productions with Riyadh season, what Netflix is doing. Because I thought, man, when Showtime boxing went down, I was like, oh man,
bad.
Like, man, Showtime is a staple in boxing. You know what I mean? HBO boxing after HBO boxing. Yeah. So it is nice to see boxing on center stage on places like Netflix. So Yeah, shout out to Netflix.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, DAZN still doing their thing, going strong. So Jake Paul is part of the resurgence of boxing. And so,
Unfortunately,
I'll give him that much credit. But that next fight, man, I'll be interested. It might be good stuff. Who knows?
we'll see. We'll see what's next for him. But also on that card, okay, they had to run it back. Katie Taylor and Serrano. So you saw that Katie got another dub. What were we thinking about that one, man?
So I've got an unpopular opinion on that one. So after that fight, Andre Ward said close fights are not robberies. As soon as the person who we don't think won that fight, everybody goes and says, oh, it's a robbery, it's a shame, boxing is dead. But it was close, right? I would agree that it was a close fight. Who won? I think it could have went either way or even been a draw. But
I would have liked to see a draw.
I do think the reason that Serrano lost was a bad game plan, because it could have been a lot easier had she not smothered every punch she threw, had she stepped back, used her reach advantage, and caught Katie Taylor at the end of her combinations. She smothered every punch. Neither fighter had any defense. They both have this much CTE after that fight. And so I hate the way that they fought. But had Serrano simply took a step back, feinted, used her reach, it's an easy outboxing of Katie Taylor. And so Serrano fought that fight trying to prove something, and it was a wrong game plan. And they decided, well, Katie Taylor won.
Yeah,
So-
so both women probably could have benefited from just using a little bit of defense, a little bit of technique, a little bit of footwork, a little bit of head movement, right?
Any head movement.
Just getting out of the way of some of those shots and using some counter punching and some angles and different things like that. Using the ring to your advantage instead of just standing right there in front of your opponent. We saw a lot of headbutting going on.
Katie Taylor was literally head down, eyes closed, I'm fighting to live. And every punch she threw was that type of a punch. And Serrano's ring IQ should have kicked in and been like, hey, she's not even looking. She's just throwing 4-point combinations every time I come in.
Yep.
She didn't come in off the jab. I mean, she's got too much experience for this.
Especially after having already done it before
Right.
with this same person. It's like, okay, what are we learning from this first fight, right? How can we kind of change up the game plan? How can we do things differently? How can we implement defense this time?
And from the first fight, she should have learned a decision is not in her favor.
It's not in her favor.
And so she tried to go in there and dog her, but the person who was supposed to be dog fought back unexpectedly, and she was prepared to go to war. And so I'm not going to sit here and say Katie Taylor won the fight, because it was close. I wouldn't have given that to either fighter. In my opinion, it was a draw.
I agree.
But I think Katie Taylor has more tools in her toolbox. I'm sorry, not Katie Taylor, but Serrano has more tools in her toolbox and could have been the better fighter that night. But she gave the fans what they wanted to see. She's legendary, so forth and so on. I'd watch it again if they do it again.
Well, of course, I always agree with giving the fans what they want to see, but sometimes you just got to do what it takes to win. And sometimes that does mean taking a step back, moving your head a little bit, and using some counterpunching. So that's why somebody like Floyd Mayweather is the GOAT, right? He's one of the GOATs, because he didn't care what the crowd thought. It's like it's the name of the game in boxing is to hit and not get hit, and Floyd was one of the best at that. So everybody can kind of learn from that. You just don't want, the crowd loves it when you just go in swinging, right? You just go in and y'all both just letting them go, right? Hagler Hearns type shit. But we got to smarten up, especially since we've already done it before, right? We don't want the same outcome, and that's what happened to Serrano.
I mean, to be honest, if you ever heard Katie Taylor speak, in my opinion, it doesn't sound like she's got it all there. She's been through a couple of wars. And so, Katie Taylor's got to chill at some point in time. It was a little dirty. I think she was rubbing her head on Serrano.
A little bit.
And so,
like you said, maybe that much CTE, but
they both went to the hospital.
Yeah, for sure. And they probably needed to, especially Serrano with that gash. That was nasty.
Hell of a cut. It was just meat just oozing out the top of her eye. So,
it was like a meat flap that was leaking, and it was all bad. So hopefully she wouldn't got stitched up ASAP.
Get that closed up some type of way. But man, shout out to the ladies, man. They were putting on legendary fights. There wasn't a knockout in that fight, but there are plenty of knockouts in the sport of boxing. So what you want to do is go ahead and check out this segment of folding chair activity, relive some of the best knockouts in the sport of boxing.
Damn, he got folded like a lawn chair.
Before he fed it was okay.
Well, he turned it up against.
He takes a right hand and a left hand, and he's on the canvas again.
Oh, nice.
Look
at the speed there.
Massively.
Set him up, and this is over, this is over.
Lands on instinct, though, Gil. He's just hanging a big right hand. That's it, Tim.
One left hook. Goes quick down to the second straight. Dumps it down. And he may be out, man. It's all.
Dreht Arthur dann ab und in dem Moment zieht er nochmal nach. Da. Das ging jetzt so schnell in der Zeit.
All right, going right into it, our next segment. We got to find out who JMC is hating on today. Who we hating on? What's going on?
All right. Today, I'm hating on the world. I'm hating on everybody, myself included. Pretty much anyone who decided that a senior citizen was going to be competitive in a combat sport. It didn't make sense. I was one of those people that just knew Iron Mike was 90s, early 90s, late 80s Iron Mike. He was going to come in and dog walk this young YouTuber. That was not the case. Mike's arthritis kicked in. His knee pad wasn't good enough. His boots weren't tight enough. He didn't have anything on under his cup. He looked old. The entire night, it was sad. The entire fight was bad. Iron Mike did not look good. He didn't look close to Iron Mike. I'm hating on anybody, myself included, who thought Iron Mike was going to be Iron Mike. Hand pads do not hit back. Jake Paul does, and it looked like it. He looked old. He even allowed a YouTuber to take it easy on him. I feel stupid. I sat there and watched this foolishness, and these guys made $20 to $50 million a piece. Man. We are all some goofies for thinking that Mike Tyson was prime Iron Mike Tyson. Hating on everybody. I'm hating on Netflix because they sold it to us and we thought it was going to be great.
They did a good job.
God damn it, it wasn't. So I'm hating on everybody. That's who I'm hating on.
And the senior citizen was trying to eat his gloves for some reason. Still don't know why that was happening.
That was weird.
But I kind of got to agree. Normally, I don't think I agree with you when you hating on people, but I got to agree with you here 100%. And, you know, I was trying to tell people, like, listen, I know, right? It's the nostalgia. Right? It's the nostalgia. Everybody's thinking about the late 80s, early 90s Michael Tyson, right? The guy that was destroying people, right? The one-punch knockout artist, right? The body shot, uppercut combination. That's what everybody wanted to see, right? That's what everybody wanted, and that's what I think everybody was thinking about. But no. Michael Tyson's knees said no, right? His stamina said no. The ulcer or whatever that was flaring up way back in the summer that got it postponed in the first place said no. Okay, so yeah, so I agree with you. I think everybody's a goofy. Myself, well, no, actually, no, I can't include myself because I was telling people, I was like, this is a young man. He's a 26, 27-year-old man, right?
What's crazy is Mama is at home. Iron Mike is going to do his thing. My wife, your wife,
everybody.
People who do not watch boxing on a regular is coming to watch this. We all some goofies. Everybody.
And it got to a point where it was actually sad to see. You know, it was sad to kind of see Mike, you know, kind of go out like that with a guy who is clearly inferior to him in boxing, meaning Jake Paul. Like you know, if they were the same age, it'd have been a completely different fight, right?
He destroys him.
Right? He destroys him. You know, but he
was old enough to be his father, and so you know, the whole time they're playing clips of old Mike Tyson knocking out guys back in his day. They're like, and they were honest, they were modest. They were saying, hey, this is a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And so we all just wanted the arrogant young punk in our eyes to get what was due to him, right?
Yeah, that's what we all wanted.
Jake lives another day.
And shout out to Teddy Atlas, man. Teddy Atlas is a guy who's kind of been hating on Mike a little bit, and Teddy Atlas believes that Mike Tyson is 0-5. We might have to say that Mike Tyson is 0-6 because he faced a little adversity on Netflix against Jake Paul, and he came up with another loss.
Yeah.
Even though he's 60, he wasn't able to push through. He wasn't able to get that knee going. That ulcer flare-up was clearly a problem. So shout out to Teddy Atlas. He might be on to something.
There are no moral victories in the sport of boxing, and we all decided to give Mike a moral victory because he's a senior citizen. But I thought it was funny because on Twitter, Bud Crawford, right? He's like, hey, y'all giving Mike too much credit. He looked bad.
I was trying to, man, listen, been trying to tell people, y'all giving this man, I get it, it's Mike Tyson, but y'all giving him too much. He's old. People retire from sports for a reason, right? I mean, you just can't do it anymore, and you for damn sure can't do it like how you used to. Mike Tyson just can't do it how he used to.
No, once my TV got done buffering, I had to switch to my phone to watch it because Netflix was not ready for the amount of people who were going to stream this fight. I was kind of sad. Like, oh, man, Mike. Mike. That's what I'm thinking the whole time I'm watching this. Mike. Don't do this. But,
yeah, man. So I agree with you, man. The whole world, we all goofy for this one. Netflix played us all. But you know what? At the same time, I'm kind of hating on Jake Paul, but then again, I'm not. Right? Because Jake Paul is doing something that I think a lot of people can only dream of doing. Honestly, what he's doing is amazing. And what he just did on Netflix in front of millions and millions of people, honestly, is amazing. He's a really savvy, I would say, businessman, right? So on that side of it, I actually give him his props. He's doing his thing. But on the boxing side of it, I can't stand this man. It's like I hate it because there are so many fighters that have come in since a child and put in the work, come up through the amateur program, right, and deserve these types of paydays, right, and these types of opportunities, right, in front of the world stage because they put that work in, right, since they were little. And now here you have, like we understand, you have this YouTuber who came up doing vines and stupid shit on the internet who all of a sudden is making all this money fighting Michael Tyson, a legend, right, a legend of the sport. So, you kind of just hate to see that. You kind of hate that this is the way that kind of things have gone, but at the same time, it's like I can understand it because he's bringing in a lot of views, right? He's bringing in a lot of people to the sport of boxing. And obviously he's done something with Netflix that nobody else has ever done. So it's like I'm hating on him, but I'm kind of not. It's like I can understand it, but at the same time, I'm knocking him because, I feel like true boxers would be like, man, this is some bullshit.
Great business for sure. So we're talking about YouTubers and, in boxing matches, the opportunity that is created. So, Mike fought a YouTuber, but let's go ahead and turn back the hands of time, right? And let's say prime Michael Tyson versus other celebrities versus the YouTubers of generations past. For our fantasy matchup, we're going to go ahead and throw prime Iron Mike Tyson against some interesting matchups, starting off with how do you feel Iron, the real, no ulcer, the real
So
Iron,
we're talking about prime late 80s Mike Tyson.
prime late 80s Iron Michael Tyson versus none other than Chuck Norris.
No, Chuck Norris is right behind you.
I heard superheroes read Chuck Norris comics.
I heard at night the boogeyman checks under the bed for Chuck.
I heard Chuck Norris's reflection won't even look him in the eye.
I heard when cops need cops, they call Chuck Norris.
I heard when Chuck gets in the water, sharks get out of the ocean.
I heard when Chuck Norris is hiking, grizzlies look out for him.
I heard Chuck Norris rides the motor without the cycle.
I heard Chuck Norris wears a hat to protect the sun.
I heard medicine takes Chuck Norris to feel better.
I heard what actually killed the dinosaurs was Chuck Norris.
I heard cats say they have Chuck-like reflexes. I think he's still got it.
I'll bet you $1 he catches a salt shaker.
You're on.
Hey, Chuck!
You owe me $1.
Listen, man, I get it, right? Now we're talking about the real Mike.
The real Mike.
Now we're talking about that killer.
The killer.
Right? And I get it. I get it. He was the man, and he still is. I mean, he's still, even though he lost to Jake Paul, I mean, he's still the man. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Mike Tyson's still the man. But one thing I believe is that Chuck Norris can do all things through Christ. And I don't know that Mike Tyson beats is this a prime Chuck Norris?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger? Yeah.
He can do all things.
No, I'm not even gonna hold you up. Chuck Norris can do all things through Christ who strengthens him, and I do not believe that Mike Tyson can fuck with him, even a prime Mike Tyson.
So there's this unbelievable stigma going on that Chuck Norris is the ultimate badass, and I don't know why or how it came about.
Did you ever watch an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger?
He's literally just a sheriff. At the end of the day, like, he doesn't even have any combat skills. I don't know. No, he did go to like a karate gym or something, I think, on a couple episodes.
No, I'm pretty sure in one of those episodes, like, he like did karate on a shark. He was riding a tiger. Like, he was doing all type of stuff. So no, I'm going 100% with Chuck Norris.
One of the best television shows in history, right? Without a doubt, unquestionable. Chuck Norris was that guy in Walker, Texas Ranger. But we're talking about a prime Mike Tyson. Like, there's no way.
I just don't know that even a prime Mike Tyson has the skill set to mess with Chuck Norris.
I mean,
you're talking about in a boxing match, right?
In a boxing match.
Yeah, no.
Nope. On Netflix.
On Netflix.
In front of 100 million viewers.
Even right now, if you were to put Chuck Norris and Mike Tyson in the ring now, Mike don't want that smoke.
That is extremely debatable. We need comments. We need somebody to say, what the fuck is going on with this fantasy matchup? We got
Tell me I'm wrong. I want anybody to tell me I'm wrong about this.
Mike Tyson versus Walker, Texas Ranger, Chuck Norris, man. How does that go on? So, a couple more guys, just to keep this idea of Mike versus a celebrity going. We're going to do Iron Michael Tyson versus a different fight style, which makes us very interesting on what type of fight style beats the other. Mike Tyson versus Jet Li.
Ooh, now that's a tough one. I would say that. So this fight is a little bit more even than with Chuck Norris. I would say that. Man, because I just remember, man, like you remember the one you remember watching Jet, like, yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know
the game. I remember the game.
The game,
like it was slick. All the stuff he could do.
Yeah. But he can't use his legs, right?
I don't know. If he's fighting Jet Li, you might need like some modified rules or something,
like kickboxing instead of just boxing.
It might need to be.
So if that's the case, I don't know that Mike stand a chance in that one either. I mean, with Jet Li.
But, I mean, if Mike is doing the whole side-to-side thing, he's got the weight advantage on Jet Li. Jet Li's not a big guy.
He got the power advantage.
No, maybe. I don't know.
I think Mike has the power advantage at least over Jet Li.
What was the punch? The punch of death or something? The short punch?
Right.
That, you know what I mean? What if Jet hits Mike with that?
And Mike go flying across the room. Like, we don't know. We really don't know.
You never know. I mean, great matchup, right?
It is. No, that's a really solid matchup.
Karate versus boxing, all tournament, both.
I would say, depending on the rules, if it's hands up, I got to go Mike.
Okay.
But if they're kicking, obviously I got to roll with Jet Li. Now with Chuck Norris, it just don't matter what. Matter. It doesn't even matter.
Chuck is that guy.
Chuck is that guy. Mm-hmm. Hands, no hands, feet, no feet. It doesn't matter. But with Jet Li, I would say if they're using feet as well, if you can kick, I'm rolling with Jet. But the hands up, I'm rolling with Mike.
I don't get it with this random super sheriff, but please comment. Let us know what you think about Chuck Norris. One last one really interesting one. We got a size difference here. We got a height advantage, even though Mike was always short and everybody that he fought. But we got
that doesn't matter with Mike.
Hey, it might in this one. It might. Iron Mike Tyson versus the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. How does that matchup go?
Let me see, man. I don't know, man. I gotta roll Mike. I'm sorry. It just Arnold.
Mike was 0-2, so you gotta.
Yeah, I gotta give you. I'm really disrespecting Mike because Mike he's really great. Honestly, I'm sorry, but it's Chuck and Jet. But with Arnold, I mean, he just lift weights. I mean, he wasn't really good at.
I mean, he was pumped up.
I mean, but Mike ain't small. Pause. Mike ain't small either, right? So it's like, I got. Arnold is not. He's not messing with Mike.
I don't know, man. Arnold in his day, all pumped up, full of steroids, jacked up. Arnold like 6'7", Mike like 5'7". I mean, it's a big weight, height, size advantage.
And I think as soon as Mike hits him in his mouth, it's over with. That's what I think.
That one might be closer than Walker, Texas Ranger. If we being honest,
I doubt it.
Because
I 100% doubt it.
I think Arnold, man, could potentially do his thing.
How though? Like what skill set is Arnold gonna use against Mike?
The one he used in what is it? Conan the Barbarian.
So you're saying he's got to get a gun? That's pretty much what Arnold's gonna have to do. Arnold's gonna have to get a gun in order to beat Mike Tyson in the fight.
We forget he's the Terminator. He's half like machine, and so that plays a part in it. Like you can't just decide Arnold doesn't have a chance in this fight. He does.
Arnold 100% gets washed in this fight, but that's just my opinion.
Man, interesting fantasy matchups. We got Mike with some of the legends of his era, of generations past. He fought a guy of his current generation in Jake Paul. It's a terrible fight. Let's throw that out the window. On to the next. Looking forward to what Jake Paul does. Hopefully, he keeps it exciting but ups the level of competition. Go ahead, leave your thoughts, your ideas, your comments. This episode was crazy. Let us know what you think about it. Per usual, we are the Unprofessional Experts Podcast. It's JMC and Davo. Make sure you got your pets, cats, dogs, chickens, bearded dragons, all the animals. Sit down, stream, watch this episode. Until next time.
This fight, I wasn't going to fight. I dedicated this fight to him. I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one who stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody vicious. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
If you've made it to this point of the episode, thank you. You are the real MVP.